know and inspire.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into something really human, often pretty painful. That feeling when you can't forgive. Maybe you've even said it yourself, I just can't forgive them. And, it's usually not from a bad place, right? It's because the hurt was just huge. Betrayal, cheating, insults, abandonment, that kind of stuff. It's a feeling most people get, that deep sense of unfairness. And sometimes we almost wear that hurt, don't we? Like holding on to it does something. Protects us, maybe.
Right, or ensures some kind of justice.
Yeah.
And that feeling, it often ties into this common belief.
Yeah.
That forgiving someone, that's weak. That it means you're saying what they did didn't matter. Or worse, you're letting them totally get away with it. There's this really strong pull, almost primal, to, remember, to want them to pay somehow, or at least see the pain they caused.
Yeah, that urge for payback, or just clinging to the anger. It's so strong. But what if that whole way of thinking about forgiveness is, wrong? What if it's not really about them at all? We came across some really profound ideas from Robert Sheinfeld that could really shift things for you. He put it like this, and this is kind of the core of what we're exploring today. Forgiveness is not judging an action. Forgiveness is releasing yourself from the consequences.
And what's so interesting there is the immediate, aha moment that can spark. It just completely flips the focus, doesn't it? Away from what they did or whether they apologize and onto your own internal state. You suddenly go, wait, what if forgiveness isn't for them? What if it's actually for me? Which is quite different from a lot of traditional views that focus on reconciliation or divine stuff. Sheinfeld just turns it on its head. It's not about their absolution. It's about your liberation.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about. We're going to unpack this pretty radical reframe because our source material today, it's excerpts from Per usual. Ooh, 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 which for English listeners roughly translates to forgiveness, liberation from consequences. And it draws heavily on Scheinfeld's work. It argues forgiveness isn't weakness at all. It's actually, get this, breaking the code of reality. He says holding on to a grudge isn't freedom. You're basically programming yourself for more pain. Breaking the code of reality. That's a huge claim, right? What does he even mean by that? Is it like manifesting or?
Well, it's less about waving a magic wand, maybe, and more about these deep, often unconscious patterns we set up. When you hold that grudge, you're constantly running this internal program. It's like a tape loop. I am hurt. I was betrayed. I'm not worthy. And that script, profoundly shapes how you see things, how you react, even the kinds of experiences you seem to draw towards you. So when Sheinfeld says forgiving changes your present consciousness, and that forces reality to change, he basically means that when you ditch that internal program, you're rewriting your own inner operating system. The outside world might not instantly transform, but your experience of it, that changes dramatically because you're interacting with everything from a totally different place inside.
Okay, that makes sense. And this is where it gets really practical, right? Our source shares this incredibly powerful personal story that really grounds the concept. So picture this. The author, 8 years old, father just vanishes. No goodbye, no calls, just gone. And for years, this simmering anger, this deep feeling of I'm not worthy, it just shadowed everything. It became the lens for every relationship, every chance they got.
And that raises the question, doesn't it? How many of us carry similar things? That feeling of, I won't be loved properly, or I'll just end up alone again. These things can really program our future interactions, like setting up self-fulfilling prophecies. The author felt, until he says, sorry, I'm not forgiving him, makes sense, right? But then they read Sheinfeld, who points out, you don't forgive for them, you forgive for you. You can do it even if they're gone.
Yeah. Wow. That's a massive shift. But for someone really deep in that hurt, how do you even start to think about releasing consequences without feeling like you're just letting it go, like you're condoning it? The author had this realization, what if I forgive not for him, but so I stop being a prisoner of what happened? So they closed their eyes, didn't say, I forgive you, but thought intensely, I release myself from the consequences of this event. And apparently from that point on, their whole approach to life just started to shift. Subtly at first, but definitely.
Exactly. And this is where you see the real power in practice. After doing this internal work, this release, within 3 months, the author felt calmer in relationships, less reactive maybe. Then 6 months later, someone came into their life they felt they could truly trust, maybe for the first time. And it wasn't because the father suddenly showed up with flowers and an apology. That didn't happen. It was because that internal program, that I will be abandoned loop, had been effectively deleted. It really shows that forgiveness isn't about judging the action. It's about setting yourself free.
Okay, so let's try this image. Imagine you're lugging around this heavy backpack, right? And it's just full of rocks. Each rock is an insult, a betrayal, some grievance they should have thought. And you're telling yourself, I am not taking this backpack off until they apologize. But maybe they never do, or they can't. And you just keep walking, feeling broken, exhausted, weighed down by all that past stuff.
Scheinfeld's message is basically, take the backpack off. Simple as that. Not for them. Do it for yourself. You're not saying, oh, what they did was fine. Not at all. You're just declaring internally, I am no longer carrying the weight, the consequences of this event. And in that moment, something clicks. You don't rewrite history, but you fundamentally alter your present state. And from that new state, your future has to unfold differently.
But some people might worry, and this is a fair point, isn't that just giving them a pass, an excuse for bad behavior?
Yeah, that's a common hurdle.
But the source is really clear.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You are not excusing the action. You're just releasing yourself from its hold over you, its power.
Exactly. Sheinfeld stresses this. You don't forgive to change the other person. You forgive to change yourself. You're not saying you were right. You're just saying, I refuse to live in the shadow of that anymore. It doesn't dictate my now or my future.
Okay, so if the message is clear, drop the backpack, the obvious next question is, well, how? How do you actually do this release? It sounds good, but what are the steps?
Right. And our source offers a really practical 5-step process. They call it the Ritualof release. First step, stop. And just honestly acknowledge the pain. No filter. Close your eyes and just say to yourself, okay, that hurt. I feel hurt or guilty or betrayed, whatever it is.
Yeah.
No judgment on the feeling, just pure acknowledgement. Let it be there.
Okay. Acknowledge the feeling. Then step 2, you explicitly say internally or out loud, I release myself. Repeat it maybe 3 times like a real declaration. I release myself from the aftermath of that event. I no longer carry that pain as my reality. It's more than just words, right? It's like an internal decision, a commitment.
Exactly. Then step 3 is crucial. You actually live the release for, say, 5 to 7 minutes. Close your eyes again and genuinely imagine what it feels like to live without that specific pain. Feel what it's like to not fear abandonment, maybe, or to trust again, or to just feel deep down, I am okay now.
Yeah.
Don't just think about it, feel it. Let that emotion of freedom wash over you. Maybe silently repeat, I am free. I am free.
Okay. Feel it, embody it. And once that feeling feels real, step 4. Step 4 is to declare it out loud. Seems important. Open your eyes and say it clearly with conviction.
Oh.
I release myself from the consequences of this event. I no longer carry this pain. I choose a new reality. Thank you. It's like solidifying that internal shift with an external statement.
Yeah, grounding it. And the final step, step 5, is maybe the ongoing part.
Yeah.
You truly live from that liberation for the rest of the day, or whenever that old grievance or thought pops up about what happened, you gently, firmly remind yourself, nope, I am already liberated. That's not my reality anymore.
Yeah.
It's like a continuous reinforcement of your new setting, your new internal state.
What really stands out is, the natural fear that might come up. But what if I let it go, I liberate myself, and then I just get hurt again?
Right. The vulnerability fear.
But the counter question the source poses is pretty profound. Well, what if you stay captive and suffer again and again anyway because you're still haunted by the past?
Exactly. The choice isn't really about making them change. That might never happen. The choice is about you deciding to stop living in the consequences. You're taking your power back.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, even if the external situation, the person, the circumstances remain exactly the same, you will be living differently inside.
Absolutely. More freely, with more dignity, with this kind of undeniable inner peace. Because your internal world really does dictate your experience of the external one.
Okay, so let's just recap the core idea from this deep dive, make sure it lands. Forgiveness, in this view, isn't about saying an action was okay. It's definitely not about waiting for an apology that might never arrive. It is, really profoundly, about freeing yourself, liberating yourself from the power a past event and its consequences have over you now. Think about that backpack again. Stuffed with those heavy stones, the insults, the grievances, the choice to finally take it off. It's not for the person who maybe put the stones there. It's for your freedom, your liberation.
And that really empowers you, doesn't it? It gives you a crucial choice. It stops being about waiting for him or her or them to change, and becomes about me deciding to stop living in these consequences.
Oh.
And the really deep insight is, even if nothing changes out there, you will live differently, freely, with dignity, with that inner peace we mentioned.
So if you want to put this into action, like right away, our source suggests a really simple but potentially powerful daily ritual. Maybe tonight, before you go to sleep, you could try this. Just say, maybe quietly to yourself, I release myself from the consequences of this event. I'm already in a new reality. Thank you. And the key, apparently, is to do it for the feeling it generates inside you, to cultivate that sense of release, that new beginning, not necessarily expecting some instant, dramatic external shift.
Right. It's about shifting the inner landscape first.
Yeah.
So the natural follow-up is, what can doing something seemingly so simple actually change? And the compelling idea, the sort of provocative thought to maybe leave you with from this deep dive is this. What if, by stopping carrying all that past stuff, by choosing to live fully right here, right now, you just wake up one day and realize that actually everything you dreamed of is already here? Just consider what that simple act of self-liberation, taking off the backpack, could genuinely shift in your whole reality.
Know and inspire. Subscribe and like, because it will be more interesting further.